I am here. I don't know where everybody else is. We'll see if they show up. But it gives me a chance to talk about anything but a rabbit hole for once. Um, let's go over some stuff first. The AWDA sponsoring the Arizona Hound Hunters Rendezvous. It's still August. Where's it at? 21st, 22nd, 23rd. You can go to azhhr.com and we'll have. It's going to be the same place last time. I just got to get it loaded onto the website, the directions or coordinates. Most everybody goes has a Onyx. We got a raffle going on still. I believe we have 10 or 11, maybe 10 spots left in the raffle. I'll put it up here real quick. Bam. So $50 a spot. There's 40 spots. You get the alpha or the choice. This is a choice of any four of these. The alpha, the XL, the Alpha 300, $1,000 cash for 3 TT25 collars. Heck of a deal. We got 10 spots left. So if you want to get in on that, if we sell 10 tonight, we'll draw tonight. Let me see what else we got going on. I think that's it. If you guys want some AWDA gear, go to coldstrikegear.com and click on the AWDA swag. The honey hole is going on. You go to coldstrikegear.com, click on the honey hole link there. It's a pretty cool deal. It's kind of like, it's better than some of the other ones like Big Game Hounds and stuff. No censorship, I guess, unless you're being a real big retard. So I don't think you'll get kicked off. See who's on the night here. Let's see who's on the night. Let me get rid of all this crap. Everybody knows I'm not the fastest at this. Jim Nanny. What's going on, Jim Nanny? Bone Pile's been on for a while, commenting a bunch of stuff. Jason Figgins is back tonight. We love Jason Figgins. Has a lot of insight. Last year was hot. Oh. It's probably going to be hot this year, but Casey Fair says we're going to get a lot of rain. So we'll see if we get a lot of rain. Evening all. Richard Fight found some Jaguar stuff in the paper and he clipped it and sent it to me. There's not many people read the newspaper anymore. Evening all from Phoenix, 95 degrees, and that's pretty chill for Phoenix. It's all right though. When it gets hot, we take naps. Who else is on? Jared Fisher. Oh, shoot. Yeah, I got an award. I thought it was a scam, actually. So I called the guy and said, what is this? And he said, no, it's for real. So somebody paid somebody off to get me there. And where's Jared anyways? There's Jared. Hiding out. I seen you post.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what my phone service does.
Yeah. Let's see. Bone pile. Ryan Bailey. Yeah, pups are sold. I'm keeping one. Chris is getting one, and the other 8 are going to competition hunt show field back east in Alabama, West Virginia, and Tennessee. It's the first time I've ever had a paper dog. So I got my mutt dogs, and I got Ryan's paper dogs. I'm going to train them side by side to prove the theory that a piece of paper doesn't exactly make the genetics. But not having paper can still hunt, hopefully. Unless I got a flop dog and I'm screwed. But even Ryan kind of said, well, good bloodline, but you never know. And so the thing with me is, though, is it's hard for me to take a dog that's been raised by someone else, even for 8 weeks, because I raised mine real different. Well, not I just raised mine my way, I'll say. So, what are you doing, Jared? You headed south or west?
No, I'm in Nevada.
Oh, I thought he was going down the Young.
Tuesday or Wednesday.
Hmm.
I'll be going to Young, but I got a buddy getting married up here this weekend, so I'll get back to where I'm going 9 o'clock tonight. He'll get married Saturday. I'll wake up Sunday. Fly out back down to Arizona.
Is your boss with you?
No, she flies in to Reno tomorrow.
So you had to drive and she got to fly.
Well, I got
Those
a
puppies?
puppy, and then one's a pup. He's, I don't know, 5, 6 months old, and then
Yeah.
the other one's my snake bitten dog, and he's gonna take about another month and a half, 2 months of doctoring before he's right.
Who's is Tote watching all your dogs or what?
Just his skin sloughed off real bad.
Oh.
Here, 1 second, I'll send you a picture.
Is Kyle watching your dogs?
Some of them.
Gotcha. What else we got going on? Oh, dang, that's a good one. But he got bit twice, right?
Yeah, he got bit twice on the same side.
Here, let me go screenshot it. Show everybody what a cool dog looks like. Oh, geez. That's pretty bad, man.
That's the worst one I've ever seen. I mean, I haven't seen a lot, but I called some other lion hunters that have dogs get snake bit pretty bad, and I sent them pictures of that, and they're like, Jesus Christ. They're like, they all say that's the worst they've ever seen, pretty much. So.
What have you done to treat it so far?
Cut the dead skin off.
How's he liking that?
He's dead, so he ain't feeling it.
Really?
Yeah.
Let me see.
I mean, that whole lip pretty much was gonna fall off.
Yeah.
But I took him to the vet Saturday night, and she cut all the dead skin off, gave me a bunch of antibiotics and some spray for the open wound, and said he'll pull through. He's just gonna look ugly. So.
Let's see. Gosh dang it. I downloaded the wrong one. What time is it? I think I did. Let me see. No. Oh, dang it. Let me make sure I'm on the right one. They uploaded it. It's not 612. Showing a screen recording. Hang on. Oh, it's right there. I'm looking for it. I don't know why it's calling it a screen recording. In 1798. There it is.
Pull the picture up or what?
I found it. What's that?
You trying to pull the picture up or what?
Yeah. Trying. All right. Now I just got to share my screen. I think I'd be good at this after a couple of years, but I'm not. Share screen. Yeah. Window. Oh, gosh dang it. I have to open in a new window. Oh, goodness. Open.
Nevada's pretty green right now. Kind of impressive.
They got a little rain or what?
They must have. Well, at least the Greasewood's green. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
God dang it.
they must have got a little bit of moisture.
Nope. I'm working on it, guys. God dang. Cancel. My Google Drive's being retarded. Now it's not getting out of here. I'm working on it. Let me see. I have to open a new window so it shows.
No.
It's worth waiting for. How long do you drive?
I got another 3-4 hours left. No, 3 hours left. I left at 7:30 this morning.
All right. Yeah. Here we go. Now I can share it. Share window. Hoping no one's eating. I mean, when it pops up.
Yeah, it's there.
Yeesh.
So she cut
Was
his whole lip that's gone there. She cut off because it was all dead skin, and then she tried stitching his underneath his neck back up, but it all rotted out too. So he's gonna have a nasty scar.
And she said is the lip gonna grow back or?
No, he's gonna show teeth on that side.
You should just name him Jonah Hex. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yep. That is crazy.
But he's got another 3. No, you got to spray his neck and his mouth 3 times a day with this spray antibiotic. And he's
like
on painkillers. Yeah, and then he's on some spray or some painkillers, and then he's on another month's worth of antibiotic, oral antibiotic. But
Man.
he's eating and drinking, so I'll take it.
Ryan Bailey says the dog won't care how it was raised. It literally might be too much dog or the exact opposite and not enough. I doubt it will be in the middle. Never know.
Never know.
Yeah.
But he's still acting normal, using his nose. I've taken him out a little bit, not in any brush or nothing yet, but I've taken him out a little bit here and there.
Yep. How old is that pup?
2.5 years.
Well, is he doing good?
Dude, so that dog that got snake bit, yeah, he's everything you want out of a 2.5-year-old. I'll say that. I got a compliment on him the other day. I was hunting with a guy on a ranch, and he had a lion hunter that was on the horse, hound, and mule deal, and one of his dogs sold for a high amount of dollars, and he said that 2.5-year-old was every bit of what that dog was. So,
well, that's what I was talking about tonight is puppies. Puppies. We all talk about the finished dogs and this and that, but I mean, what's the real, what's the truth about puppies? You know what I mean?
I don't know. I'm terrible with them. So,
well, if you're gonna ruin a dog, you're gonna ruin them young, right? If you're not a good handler,
yeah,
or even a good handler can ruin them young.
Yeah, I mean, but I don't do anything special with them. I just go hunting. And they just go with, and once they start figuring life out, they start going with the older dogs. And then I'll do some little things like you know, I'll kennel them with my best dog.
Yeah.
You know, I'll kennel my puppies with my best dogs.
Do you do any scent training or anything? Or do you just
No,
drop them with your older dog?
I just drop them with the older dogs and we go.
When do you start running them with your older dog?
Oh, depending on the time of year, like if they're 5, 6 months old, 7 months old, I'll take them in the summer just because you don't hunt long days, so they can keep up. They don't get tired, you know, compared to the winter time when you're going sun up to sun down. That's pretty hard on a 6-month-old pup.
I talked to a guy who has a friend that had gotten a dog from somebody, and at 6 months old, this dog made a tree, and it was a few miles, maybe 7, 8 miles, or maybe 5 miles. I don't remember what it was. It wasn't 200 yards, and he called the guy he got the dog from, and the guy kind of got mad at him. Said he was an idiot, letting his dog run with the dogs that much.
Depending on the dog, like I've had some dogs that I feel like were overhunted and they just kind of were sick of it. And like I have this, she's a great dog now, but God, when she was a year old, year and a half, she just didn't care to go with the dogs anymore. So I left her in the yard for a month and a half.
Yeah.
Never took her out. And ever since she sat for that month and a half, she's been a great dog ever since.
Gosh dang it. So I mean, I had El Pato and Vaca, and I was chasing a bear. They were 4 months old, and they made like a 1.5 mile race just because they took off. And I picked them up later on, probably 2 miles. I picked them up because they fell behind a little bit. But I mean, they were some of my better dogs. I still have Vaca grew old and she had to be put down, and then Pato got killed by bees. But I feel like when I drop those dogs young with my older dogs, they pick up really well.
It just, and it just depends on what you're doing. Like, I won't drop a 6-month-old puppy on a snow lion track.
You won't?
No, because the older dogs will blow him out of the water. They'll go and take it screaming, and he'll go for a little bit, but once he gets by himself, he's going to turn back to a puppy. You know what I mean? And he doesn't know where they are. He doesn't know where you are. But when you're hunting in the summer and everything's 10 times slower in the summer, the scent dissipates faster. It's hot. You're not covering as much ground. Everything's smaller circles, shorter days. It's easier to take a dog there and keep him interested.
Yeah.
And you take then, but you also, you might get snake bit. You never know.
Yeah. How far were you from that dog when he got snake bit?
30 feet, 40 feet. He walked right into it.
If they get lazy, shut her up a while and let the fire build up.
Yep.
I like getting puppies that other people have tried to start and they get mad at them. Well, look, Derek decided to show up after months and weeks. We hadn't had no one to pick on, so.
Well, you didn't send me a link for like a month, and then I've been working.
I sent you a link every week for the last 2-3 weeks.
For the last 2 or 3, but I've always been working.
You've been working nights.
No, I ain't been working nights. I've been working days, but we've been getting to the hotel late.
Yeah. So how early do you think you can start dropping them with dog, Jared? I mean, should you let them run around at 3 or 4 months? As long
Oh,
as you're
yeah,
not
let 'em-
taking a big track?
just let them run around, be puppies, do all that stuff. Like when you're if you're hunting the dirt, it's totally different. They're just going to run around and be idiots, but they're just going to run around and be idiots with the big dogs. You know, let the big dogs show them. And everything's so much faster paced, and the snow, that they don't have the legs or the longevity to keep up with the bigger dogs compared to, in the dirt, everything's just slower. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? The tracks are slower, so if everyone's, you know, if you're trailing a tom that's making scratches, and everyone's got their nose buried in the scratch, that pup's gonna walk over there and be like, "What are you guys smelling?" You know, just stuff like that. But
And start learning.
yeah, and start learning. Just
It's
stuff like that. And, you know, you can, if you are lucky enough to catch one and he's there, you know, jump that bugger out to him. See if he can run it by himself.
how early you think you can tell when a pup's going to make it? Especially running with big dogs. We'll use your system.
I've had dogs show up to the tree at 5 months. Do the whole game. From
Like they love the trail. They love to open up on the trail. They love to get to the tree and tree.
Yeah. Like, not so much the cold trail at 5 months, but like this a couple of years ago, I caught a lion, man to May, and we started him at 6 in the morning, had it treat at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and this little female pup I had, she did the whole thing besides the cold trail. Once that lion was jumped, she was trailing. But it was a short jump race too. That jump was only 400 or 500 yards, and that lion climbed.
So if you're jumping a lion, we'll just go dirt. If you're jumping a lion and it's a real hot one, is that when you kind of want to put them down on the short end of the trail, or do you hold them till you get to the short end of the trail?
I don't hold them. If they go, they go, you know, and let them go. If I got to pick them up along the way to take them to it, I will.
Yeah.
You know, but.
And what do you look for when you put them down with those big dogs? What do you look for at that dog?
Just if they're curiosity, what they're doing, you know, stuff like that. Are they trashy? You know, if you do blow a deer out, are they going to go take off and chase after it by themselves for 3/4 of a mile?
Like I took my puppies to the creek, and I took Stinker, and there's a little black and tan. I don't want to admit this, but there's a little black and tan that, man, it would put it. I mean, these dogs aren't even 8 weeks old hardly coming up, but this little black and tan would put that nose down wherever Stinker went. And then wherever he was working, he would just put his nose down like he really wanted to work. If she went up and by herself somewhere, he went up with her.
Yep.
So.
No,
yeah.
If you show them enough country and stuff like that, they'll pick it up along the way and learn how to get around the boulder piles and learn to use their ears to listen to see where the dogs are and all sorts of stuff like that.
Yeah. So what do you think's the most overrated thing about dropping them pups with those dogs, older dogs?
I love every second. That's what needs to happen, you know. I don't do drags.
Yeah.
I don't road my dogs. I don't do drags. We just go.
Yeah, but you have an opportunity to hunt a lot.
Yeah.
So what about the guy who don't get to hunt a lot? He can only go out a couple days a week.
I don't know. I've been so blessed the last, well, pretty much since I started almost, you know. At least I've always been able to go out 2 days a week, if not more.
Yeah.
For the most part, you know, you got life that gets in the way, like you got to go to a wedding or you got obligations where you're going to miss for a week or two, but
You just got to get out as much as you can.
You just got to get out as much as you can.
Because a lot of people
Get
don't
out
have
and walk.
made dogs like you. You know what I mean?
They don't have what?
Made dogs that know what they're doing.
Oh, I mean, no, my dogs are okay. They're not, I wouldn't say made. They still trash pretty good on me.
Yeah.
But just biggest thing, like when I started out, I had one hound, and he was a terror. He'd run anything that moved. And I was talking to this old timer, and he just said, follow him around. So I just followed him around. If he ran a deer by me, I shocked him. If he bait up a group of elk, I shocked him.
I think probably the most overrated thing about dropping pups with old dogs is people think that dog's gonna learn just off that old dog without no help. I think what's underrated is there's no help on it. But I guess if you're looking for a good dog, you don't want to have to help it, correct?
Well, all my really good dogs, I've never had to show them how to hunt. They just take to it. You know, it might be a year and a half before they turn on, but when they turn on, it's game on type deal. You know, I've never had to hold their head, show it at a tree, and you know.
Yeah. So what do you think are some of the biggest mistakes people make?
Overhandling?
On a puppy, yeah. On a young dog. Trying too hard?
Demanding too much.
You think it's worse if they have older dogs that are doing it too? They expect them to, like, picking up right away because the other dog's opening up and trailing?
Yeah, like you're talking, like, I always compare it to sports, but, you know, you got a 6-month-old pup. That's like a 4-year-old carrying a basketball.
Yeah.
And you just want him to shoot the basketball into the hoop. You don't care if he travels.
You want him to dribble right away.
Yeah. If you want him to dribble all the way up and down the court and shoot a basket as a 4-year-old, you're demanding a lot. You know, as a puppy, just go with them. That's all I care about. You're gonna learn if you go with them.
Yeah. You just gotta watch what they do, basically.
Yeah. To see, and maturity is a big thing. See how mature they get.
Jason Figgin says when they start real good, and then they stopped hunting them for a period of time. So they start out real good, and then they don't hunt them no more.
Oh, well, that's that's just good. Like horses.
Handles are good for shovels. Casey Fair.
Yep.
Where's Casey? He said he was jumping on. Probably sitting at home in his underwear.
He might be. But, you know, I don't ask my dogs to do a whole lot. Just load up in the truck and shut up in the yard. That's it. And, you know, they like come back to their names and stuff. But I just want them to load up, come, and not bark in the yard. The rest of it's on them.
And then hunting them too hard, maybe?
I don't know.
Should you hunt them as hard as they want to hunt?
Yeah, I do. I'll hunt them when they don't want to hunt. I mean, if they got, you know, like, guys will call me and ask me about their feet, you know, as long as they're not take them out. Don't take them out all day, but do a short circle that day.
Yeah. Yep. And then,
you know,
when do you start correcting them? When do you think is a good time with a collar?
That depends on the dog's maturity level. If it's bullheaded, you know, there's some dogs you can you can screw up a dog, those real light-hearted dogs, you can screw up them trailing just talking to them. You know, you could have a 1.5-year-old pup that's kind of timid, and it's trailing and barking on something, and you go over and say, hey, what are you smelling? And all of a sudden the dog just quit.
Yeah.
That dog, you know what I mean? That dog, you got to build confidence in what they're doing. The big thing is confidence. You got to build confidence in what they're doing and show them enough of the right game before you just try to take the hunt out of them. Because I've seen guys, you know, that dog's never even seen 1 or 2 lions yet, or a bear even, and they light its neck up for chasing a deer.
Yeah.
Just be happy that dog's hunting right now.
That always brings me back to the story about Mike Roots, where the dog would take off, and you'd say, he's probably chasing a coyote, but he'll be back.
Yep.
Now, once they've
seen 10, 12 lions, maybe chewed on a couple of them, yeah, start being like, hey, dude, we're doing this. We're not doing that.
That's a problem around here. Around here is people shocking them, and they don't know what they're doing wrong because they don't know what they're supposed to do right.
Yeah, they're just overhandling too early.
And what about solo time? Letting that dog work on its own.
Yeah.
Like making him work instead of relying on the older dog.
Well, it depends. Like if I'm if I'm hunting the snow and I got some 1.5-year-olds, my old dogs they're not going. If I'm gonna take all them 1.5-year-olds and hunt the snow, track out with them, and I can find it in the snow, so I don't need. If they do make a lose, I can find it for them and get them back on.
And you try to stay with your dogs as much as you can.
I like to stay within 200-300 yards, and then, you know, and I don't get on top of them. You know, I try not to get right on top of them, and when they're trailing, if they make a hard lose, I'll try to circle around them and stay out of their way. But circle around them a couple 100 yards around them and see if I can't find a track if they made a hard lose.
Savage. I definitely struggled with pushing them too hard and expecting improvement instead of waiting for the dog to go on its own pace. You think that's a big problem for a lot of people?
Well, I mean, yeah, you see some guys like, if that dog ain't treeing by 7 months, it's a cold. Like, dude, my best trail dog never treed. If that lion climbed a tree, she didn't do anything with it.
Yeah.
But she was a rock star when it came to cold trailing and picking up loses.
So you didn't need her to tree. You just needed her to stay on the track.
Yeah, I didn't care if she treed. She'd bay them if they were on a ledge or on the ground, but that thing could be 7 feet in a tree, 6 feet in a tree, and she didn't care. She'd just go back with her nose down.
That's why you have to I think that's why you have to pay attention to your pack. Not everybody's going to tree, not everybody's going to trail. But if you have a couple hard tree dogs with you, and you have a couple hard trail dogs with you, you're good to go.
Yeah, you're fine. It takes a team. It takes a team to catch any amount of game. Like what me and Dustin were talking about with his boomer dog. I was just like, dude, I need that dog down here to catch a couple wild lions because my dogs they're not putting enough pressure on it. I know Boomer can. You know? Boomer cold-nosed? Super cold-nosed? No. But on a jump, that dog shines on a jump, and he does trail good on a good track. So every dog has its place whether it's
Yeah.
trailing, treeing, locating. You just got to find their tool and learn how to use it.
Yeah. So, I mean, expecting a 10-month-old or even a 12-month-old dog to be doing it all is kind of, I'm not saying there's dogs out there that aren't real close to doing it all,
Yeah.
but you shouldn't expect it from them so much.
No. No.
Well, and what about trash breaking? How many lions, how many bears, how long? I mean, you should have kind of a plethora of game they've been under before you start saying, listen, you got to quit chasing them coyotes, man.
Yeah. And it's, how many, it goes back, you got to show them animals, and you have to show them, they got to know what to smell before you can trash break them. You know what I mean? So if they've seen,
Oh, we might lose Jared. Oh,
yeah, you can start trash breaking then.
say that. Go back about 10 seconds because you cut off a little.
If they've seen 10, 20 lions and have trailed, 60, 70, whatever, yeah, trash break them. They're old enough now, or they've seen enough game and smelled enough tracks to, they need to know which way, and you know what I mean.
I mean, so you're talking a lot of praise on a good trail. I think a lot of people, I think we're about to lose you again, but I think a lot of people, if they don't see where they are, I think we lost Jared. Oh, there. I think a lot of people, if they don't see where they are and they get too far out, they get scared and they start shocking them because they don't know what they're on.
Yep.
They start correcting them before, because they get scared, right?
Yeah. I've done it.
Oh yeah, I've done it too when they're out there quite a ways, and I'm like, man, I don't know what they're trailing. I don't see no tracks.
You're like, hey, something's weird. Them older dogs are hanging back, and the yearling's bleeding. I don't know what's going on.
But didn't that happen to Dustin when his one dog was way off somewhere and everybody else's dog was somewhere else? And
yeah, me and Dustin, we had like 13 dogs on the ground that day, and we had a split race, and 4 dogs treat the female, and the other dogs went and were trailing a tom, and they were a half a mile apart from each other, 3/4 of a mile apart from each other.
And they just split treat. They just took a different track.
Well, yeah, they took a different track. We didn't catch the tom. They heard those. They looped back around and heard those other dogs treeing and came to the tree. But the way that track even started, like, I looked at Dustin, I'm like, that's not a lion track. I was like, no way, that didn't look right.
Yeah.
And and then we had a split race like 45 minutes later, an hour later, and I'm like, and when I saw that split, I'm like, this is pig.
Yeah.
And Dustin was right, and Dustin's like, no, the good dogs are doing everything too. Just let everything go, and we'll see what happens if we got to. And he was right. We ended up catching a nice female that day, jumping her out. She jumped out twice on us and let her go.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard to trust your dogs too, especially the young ones.
Yeah. Dustin's really gifted when it comes to young dogs. And seeing what they're about. Like, Dustin's really, really good at seeing and reading dogs.
He pays attention.
Yeah, he's really.
Yeah. I think we're gonna lose you. Breaking up real bad.
I think you're right. All right, I'll talk to you guys later.
You're good now.
See ya.
All right.
All right, I'll see you guys here in a little bit. Maybe we'll see how far.
Well, you're all good now. It's all clear.
Okay.
No, I try not to like tone breaking. I like toning them. I don't mind them. 90% of the time they'll come back on a tone, but I love being able to yell at them. You know, doing my whoop or whatever, or honk your horn, and they come back.
Yep.
So, especially when I'm on the res, I really don't like, because most of the time on the res, I have to bring them back. They're on something, you know. So I have to I have to bring them back in a positive manner. You know, like, not today, guys. You know, good job. You know, but I wonder what they're thinking though. Are they saying, you know, are they thinking, damn, what do you mean good job? Like, we literally.
Yeah. They could get confused. I mean, depending on how many times you have to do it in a row before, you know, they make one climb.
Yeah, I don't do it every day.
Yeah.
I try not to hunt close to that res as much as I can, but sometimes, no matter how far away I am, they end up on the res. So, and, you know, and I think a lot of times some of these dogs are ruined accidentally. You know what I mean? So.
Oh yeah.
You don't mean to. It's just, I think you get nervous, like if they're going on the res or they're getting into an area where you don't want them to be. You know.
Yep. Absolutely.
But what's that?
I said absolutely.
But then you get into, you know, then you got the genetics versus training. And I don't think you can have one without the other.
To make a great dog, it usually takes genetics and training.
And I think people confuse genetics sometimes with a piece of paper, not just even a backyard breeder. You know what I mean?
Yeah. None of my dogs are papered.
No.
But, I mean, then again, it all comes back to Western versus Eastern. You have your Western guys that don't care about papers. They just care about who you got your dogs from.
You're right. Animals are not dumb. They know where the safe zone is. I can tell you right now, bears and lions do. Bears especially. They know they run north where I hunt or south, they're going to end back up across that line.
Yeah.
And they know they're safe. And they know, the bears know, you got dogs on your ass and all of a sudden they're gone. You know?
Yep.
They do know that. Casey, is there any rain? Casey said it's greening up pretty good. You said it's greening up over in Nevada, huh?
It is. At least the greasewood's green right now. I wouldn't say the grass is crazy tall, but
it's bad when the greasewood turns brown. That's when you know you haven't had no rain.
Yep.
That stuff down south where I hunt, some of it's dead. And if you can kill a greasewood, man, you haven't gotten rain at all.
But there's still snow on the mountains right now, like the big mountains on the California border here. They still got snow at 12,000 feet, 11,000 feet. Yeah.
So we got genetics, we got training, and no matter if you have the genetics, the training is what's going to create the greatness.
Yeah. You know, exposure, just like a horse. You know, if you don't take him out of that round pen and put miles on his legs, he's going to be a spooky, scared of everything bugger if you don't show him what's out there.
Yeah.
Exposure is huge.
Yep. Real huge. I mean, because you can ruin a genetic dog, and I guess genetics can ruin a dog too. You know, what do they say back east, that they're breeding the nose out because they want a hotter nose for those competitions?
Yes.
We're trying to breed a colder nose in, but I mean, how cold a nose do you really want?
I like 40. I like 36 to 48 hours.
So a couple days at least.
I'd like to have a couple of those. I don't want everyone to be like that, but if I have a couple dogs that can be like, hey, something was here, I like that. You know, then at least I know something's been through, and I can kind of guess where to go.
Ain't no such thing as a cold nosed dog here in Virginia. You have a lot of moisture there.
But I don't want everyone to be able to trail a 2-day-old track. If I have 2-3 out of the 6 or 8 I'm hunting that day that can do that, that's all I need.
What is Ted Winter? No amount of training can make up for bad genetics. But what's bad genetics? Like if you got a mutt dog that you just got from somebody's backyard, you know, do you think you can train a dog?
Yeah, you can't force a dog to hunt. I mean, no.
What's bad genetics? What's bad genetics, you think?
It just depends on what the application of the dog is. Like a back east coon dog coming out here and trying to trail a night old lion track in 100-degree heat, or in, you know, we're in the lows 75 and the highs in the 100. That's a hard track. You got to be used to the heat. They have to be somewhat colder nosed, you know. But that hot nosed coon dog from back east might be able to do better on the jump compared to what some cold nosed dogs can do.
Jason says big breeding for looks, and everybody wants a hot nosed dog with the manes that come through. Put a herding on our bear, so now if you don't have a cold nosed dog, you might be out of luck.
But it just depends on what you're hunting, for one. You know, like it takes a team of dogs to catch a drag ground lion or a bear in the desert. Dustin, I mean, shit, I watched him and his dogs cold nose a bear last fall, and I'm like, are we cold trailing this bear right now? And he's like, yeah. And those dogs cold trailed that bear for like 3 hours, pecking away at it, and then got it up and moving and treated. You know,
the thing about a bear, if you cold nose a 3-day bear, it might only be half a mile away feeding.
Yeah.
I've been with people who cold nosed a bear, and we cold nosed a bear for a few miles. I mean, slow cold nose. And I'm like, man. And then bam, there it was. Probably laid up somewhere eating acorns.
Oh, dude, Justin gave me the dumbest look on his face, because we were cold trailing that bear, and I'm like, are we cold trailing this bear on purpose?
Like, he looked at you stupid.
I was just like, everyone I've ever talked to, I've never done a whole lot of bear hunting, so I don't know really anything about it, but I was like, everyone I've ever talked to about bear hunting say they want a hot race for a bear. And I was like, this looks like a night old lion track. And he's like, no, I've got tons of bears cold trailing into them. And I was like, okay. And no, he did. He was right.
Dirty was real bad about cold trailing bears, and it gets kind of annoying sometimes. But in the end, I mean, you might drive around for 2 hours looking for a hot track, and a lot of times, especially in August, those bears, they cross that road, and it was early, or when I free cast, but those bears would get up in a little gully somewhere and take a nap. So instead of driving around all day trying to find a hot track, I trail for a couple hours and then have probably better opportunity jumping a bear.
Yep.
So, but you do what you can to stay on the trail.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and if you pull off that cold bear, that bear might just be 500 yards in front of you.
Yeah.
But it's just like a lion too. You cold trail a lion, and he might have killed something half a mile away, and you're just cold trailing into him sitting there. I've done it in the snow. We had a freak snow, had a froze out trap, and we walked them dogs out that track because we had a bunch of puppies, because we were actually like trying to rig train, and that lion was only 3/4 of a mile away, sitting on a rock watching that elk he killed the night before in that freak storm in May.
Huh.
Yep. It was like May 21st, this time of year, and we got a little 1 or 2 inch snow. By the time we took the puppies and they walked it out to the tree, the snow was already gone, almost gone, and they couldn't find that line in the tree. There was a huge area of dogs running around, and it took us 10, 15 minutes to find that line in one of those trees because it was laid out flat. So, Casey didn't want to hear us talk, I guess.
No.
He said these guys are stupid. Hope not. You got to spend a lot of time with them here coming quick.
Yeah. Go hang out.
Be a cowboy.
Oh shoot! I don't. He's gonna have to teach me about everything. I'm about as green as a guy from New York.
Hey, it's like dropping you with an old dog.
That's right.
You'll learn. And he'll let you do what you're not supposed to, so you do learn. You know he will.
Oh, absolutely.
Jared said, "Yeah, I'm not going to be doing much roping or pushing cattle." And I said, "Yeah, you're not just going to be fixing fences, buddy." It's gonna be a fun summer, though.
Yeah, it should be a good time. I like hanging out with Casey.
Yep.
Tell you what, he's fun to hunt with. I love hunting with Casey.
Man, I got a little bit of chance down there last time. I'm trying to get to be able to stay down there for a week. We'll see what happens with me and Cody here soon. See if we're piled up with work. We got a bunch of bids out, and what's going to happen is they're all going to pile in at once.
Yep.
So, but Casey must have got a phone call.
Yeah. Busy man.
Young pups that made it or didn't make it. You ever had a dog you thought like started out super good, gonna be amazing, and then it just plateaued, stopped?
Yeah, I had a Walker female. Kyle's got her now, and she cold trails. She's a real nice dog, but she's not a great dog. She was making trees at 5 months old, trailing at 6 months old. Like, I was like, man, this dog's gonna be something awesome. And then she hit 3 years old and just plateaued. She's still a nice dog. I mean, I kept her till she was 5 or 6.
Yeah.
But she just wasn't. She wasn't one of those dogs that I thought she could have been. I really thought she was going to be something more than what she was.
So her amazing was at before a year, and then that was it.
Even at a year and a half, she was cold trailing and doing real good. But she kind of plateaued about 3 years old.
Yeah.
And never progressed past that.
And that's You know what? I've probably done it a couple times where you had a pup that wasn't so good and you give it away and it becomes great for someone else.
Oh yeah.
You know, and you're like, damn, I should have gave it a little bit more time. It's hard to have patience. What about you, Casey?
What's that, Chris?
How long, when you got a pup, it starts out real good, and then you had a pup that started out real good and it just kind of plateaued out. Born to be a rock star, but barely pulling gigs and bars.
That's what that dog's going to be. I don't believe there's any way to change that. If you're showing them game, that dog's going to be all that dog's going to be. I mean, when you talk about breeding a dog and all that stuff, you got a 50-50 chance of making a dog. The worst trait in them dogs, both parents, is going to pop up. I'm a firm believer in that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Jason says, that's what people do. You hear before they have a chance. Then I get some of them and they turn out to be awesome. That's why I don't mind taking dogs, because I've taken dogs that people say are shit, and it's maybe because of their character. They don't get along. Because if you don't get along with the dog, you're not going to put no time into that dog.
Yep.
You know, I didn't like a dog, and I don't know why I didn't like a dog, Halado, and my wife said, just try him. Man, I'm glad I did, because I lost both of my number 2 that I was relying on, and now he's gonna be my dog, you know. But for some reason, I didn't give him a chance, just because I didn't like the way he looked at me. Or now, he kind of grew it on me a little bit, you know. But it's hard to have that patience if you don't like a dog. But I had Andy for 10 years, and I hated that son of a bitch. I wanted to shoot that dog every time I was out for something. But I tell you what, he always made up for it, because when he got on a trail, he didn't stop a trail. And he was a brute, and he would push dirty. He wasn't a lead dog, but it's just kind of like the guy in the pit with the shovel while you're using a backhoe. If he wasn't there, you couldn't do your job. God, Casey.
Yep.
Casey, shut us off again.
Yep.
I was just kidding, Casey. You know, and then you get that. He's back. Yeah. You hit a button, didn't you, Casey?
See how to read them comments. You know, last week or last time I was on, somebody commented 3 or 4 times. I would have loved to have answered them, but I can't see them.
I read everybody's but Bone Piles, because he posts 300 of them. I can't keep up with Bone Piles comments. You know, but, and I don't think you could really answer when is it time to give up a dog, besides the fact that you just know. There is no, I think people, like you said, Jared, some people are like, if it ain't doing this by a year, they're gone. I don't technically believe in that. You know?
I give them 2 full hunting seasons past a year old.
And you give them enough days that you're going to know, and enough game that you're going to know if they're going to do it or not.
Yeah.
Now, that dog that doesn't hang with you or Casey or some of these guys that hunt a lot, is that a good dog for, say, a starter, or someone that only goes out 2 or 3 times a year? Would that be a good dog for them? Or if you're seeing that much game and you take that game away and you're only seeing 25% of the game, is that dog going to get worse? Because he's not going to get no better whether he sees 100 or 25.
I'm guessing he's going to get worse. Just like if Casey gave me his high-dollar rope horse and told me to go rope off of him for 6 months, I'd have that horse so screwed up and confused on what I wanted to do, because I don't know what I'm doing. That horse knows what he's doing, but I don't know how to tell that horse what I want him to do. I'll have that horse so screwed up that I'll give him back to Casey and he'll punch me in the face the first day he gets him back.
Like, who was that? Richard Dickerson? He had whipped his horse.
Yeah, you know, it's the same thing with, you know, if the handler doesn't know how to handle, then the dog's not going to he's going to go down. And it's going to be drastic.
And you can't train desire into a dog.
No. No.
You know,
That's a birth given right. Like a dog's gonna be what a dog is, you know, and a lot of people have a lot of patience with a dog. And like Jared was talking earlier, but them dogs have the opportunity and they're seeing game and they're not going on, you know, that dog's coming back to you, you know, checking in all the time, whether you overhandled the dog or not. Probably not the dog that I want to keep. You know, I want that dog hunting. I don't want that dog coming to check. I don't need a babysitter. You know, and you know, a lot of people.
You want to look for the dog. You don't want the dog to look for you.
No, I want to go hunting. Don't take that the wrong way. I want to go. I want my dogs to go hunting with me, but in the process, they need to be hunting. You know, not coming and checking in with me. You know, like Jared was talking about that dog not. His best trail dog didn't tree. And I think, and I'm kind of in that situation. I've got a dog that trails really, really hard. That she trees, but doesn't tree as hard as the rest of them. And at the end of the day, the end result, we're looking to, you know, for the dog that's the complete package. You know, they pretty much all have to pull their own weight. And like you're talking about a dog, you know, at Pinnacle that at 2 years old, you know, like it'll trail this track, but it'll only trail for 2 days. Whether it's desire to hunt or it's feed or bad or whatever, that dog's just going to be whatever the dog is. You can't make a dog anything that a dog's not capable of. Their capacity, their maturity, like he was talking about. You can't make a dog do stuff. They either have it or they don't.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can give them the opportunity. That's the huge thing, is giving them the opportunity. If a dog don't have an opportunity, dog's never going to be nothing. You know, the best dog in the world, if it doesn't have the opportunity to be the best dog, he's never going to be the best dog. Like Michael Jordan, he would have never been the best basketball player if his mom made him sit at home and play the piano.
Yeah. Yeah. So consistency, good. Certain amount of patience, good. I think patience is hardest thing to come by. Because when you got young dogs, it's like little kids. You tell them to quit and they keep doing it. Quit, keep doing it. You're like, okay, man, you're going to have to quit. And you don't want to over punch. You're not going to walk up and punch your 3-year-old and
yeah, and the dog's like, you know, it's like a kid. You want him to go out there to be a doctor, but he's never ever had to go out and mow the lawn. You know, there's a process in it. You know, I mean, you want that dog to trail stuff. You want him to trail lion, but he's never got to see a lion. You know, you go to the woods 10 times a year or 15 times a year, and it's pretty much chaos. You can't expect that. I mean, that dog doesn't need to be stalked by no means. I don't care how old he is.
yeah.
You know? Now, if you take one like Jared was saying, and he give his dogs a lot of lions. And I think what's missing there is you go trail a lion, you go put your dogs on lion tracks, and you're cold trailing. There's nothing makes a dog any faster, I don't think, than grinding out a track for 3 or 4 days, and then it's like, man, I need to catch that lion. And when you catch that lion with them young dogs and they've worked their guts out, that reward it comes so much faster. It's just like getting a paycheck at the end of the week with a bonus.
Yeah. So a lot of praise when they do good.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
I think if you're close to your dogs, like if you're really close to your dogs and you pet them every time you walk out, you're not. I mean, they're tools, but I mean, you got to clean your tools if you want them to stay running. You know what I mean? And you have to take care of your tool. I think those dogs read you as much as you read them. You talk about Dustin being a good dog reader, but them dogs pay attention to you.
Oh, absolutely.
They know when you're mad. They know when you're glad. You know what I mean? You go praise them and go tell them, what are you doing? Why they tuck their tail. And you say, what are you doing out there? And you say, man, good job, good job. They start wagging their tail. They act all giddy. You know, they want you to pet them now. So I think you have to not only pay attention to them, you have to pay attention to how they pay attention to you and what makes them work harder for you. Whether I had a dog that I had a collar on, but the old owner must have burned her up, because if you toned her, you might as well just turn it on 18,000 and shocked her. But I could tell her if she was trailing, like going into the turkey scratches and really working those turkey tracks, I could tell her, what are you doing? And I had to be careful on my tone even, because she was really sensitive. And I don't typically like a sensitive dog, but if they're working and you have a sensitive dog, man, you don't have to do much to get them on the right track, you know, if you do it right. I think some people are a little heavy-handed, and I'm not saying I haven't been at times when they're fighting a porcupine.
Your heavy-handedness comes down to what dog you have. You know, like some dogs, like I got a little Daisy dog. You talk to her wrong, and she'll come back. You can talk her out of a lion track. And then I had this one dog. He wasn't trash broke off deer till he's 5 years old, and you could stand on his neck. But he hunted his guts out. But you had to keep your thumb on him to keep him straight. You know, just like, I mean, I don't have kids, but I got little nieces and nephews. Some kids, you gotta just look at them wrong and they'll break out crying, and other ones you can scream and holler at them and they'll laugh at your face.
Oh, other ones you could beat the shit out of them, and they won't back down.
Yeah, you know, and dogs are the same way.
Yeah, how many times have you got a dog that you could shock it on 2 or 3, and you're like, man, is it working? You turn it up 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and they don't even flinch. And you turn it up to all the way, and they do that little twitch. You're like, are you kidding me? Some dogs are just tough. No, Luke wouldn't come off a tree. I don't care how bad you shocked him, what you did. I had to physically go to a tree and get Luke off. That's Dirty's dad. He just would not leave a tree. And if he didn't come back to you, he was on something. But I had my scooter dog that if he came back to me when the dogs opened up, I know I could shock my dog, because when he came back to me, they weren't chasing something they were supposed to. And I had another dog out of him named Snoopy and or Juice. And Juice did the exact same thing. If those dogs opened up on anything besides a bear, lion, he would run back to me and walk next to me. Loved it. It was the best check dog. I wish I had one my whole life. I don't have nothing like now that does that. But I knew if he came back to me, they weren't on something they were supposed to be. So, and then when you lose those kind of dogs, then you have to second guess what they're on. So.
Oh yeah.
You know, what is that? Genetics? His daddy did it, and he did it.
It could have been some brains in there.
Yeah.
You know, I've never really bred dogs, so I don't know a whole lot about the breeding. I know what I like, and I know who produces what I like, so I just get dogs from that person. So that'd be a Casey question. Yeah.
Yeah. And I really think.
Go ahead, Chris.
No, I was just rattling.
Yeah, I went through a little stage there. Well, a long stage, about 8 years of it, and you couldn't holler around my dogs. You know, they just they quit hunting, and it was they just I guess you could say they handled real good. We had a guy one time. We're bear hunting. The guy drove up the road and he rigged a bear track, and I took a hunter and we pulled up there, and I got out, and one of the dogs was loose. You know, she wasn't in a dog box. She's in the truck with us, and she ran up there and went to sniffing that track, and he went to asking about that dog. I said, "Don't worry about that dog." I said, "That dog's fine." And we're sitting there, and we finally found the track, got a direction on the deal, and I walked over there and I dumped my dogs. And them dogs just kind of run around there, and I thought about it for a second. I'm like, "Shit, how come they ain't leaving?" And it dawned on me. I'm like, and I told Mike, that hunter, I said, "Dude, we got to go get on our horses. Them dogs ain't going to leave till we get on our horses." And we got smoking. I mean, them dogs just pour the top off that truck rigging. We walked over there, untied our horses, put our bridles on, and stepped on our horses, and them dogs left. And he goes, "Dude, I thought you were full of crap when you said that." And I'm like, "No, them dogs, they go hunting with me. You know, I just don't go dump my dogs down a track. I mean, if I'd have walked off of there, them dogs would have win." But I hunted with some guys this winter, and we were trailing a lion, and we knew where the lion was going to go through a saddle right there, and they jumped in their buggies and hauled butt around there and got there. Their dogs went over, and I picked mine up right there at the road. Like, they got in front of them dogs and stopped my dogs. Like, they just I guess it's just a different style of hunting. You know, how you handle your dogs. Like I said, one time we were hunting, and there was guys had some young dogs there, and the headline tracks going both ways, and them dogs were trailing out of there, and them young dogs were kind of trailing out of there. And I get it. What the guy thought, he thought, well, if them young dogs are trailing it, that's got to be the fresher track right there. And they've been grinding. I wasn't with the dogs. I was around another piece of country. Diana was right there with them dogs, and he gets to hollering and screaming at them dogs. And, you know, he's trying to get them back to him right there, because they found a smoking hot scratch. You know, it's just an intersection right there. And Diana told him, he's like, "Dude, if you keep screaming, we're done." And he's like, "What are you talking about?" Them dogs are going to quit. That's the only thing that's pushed us this far. Like, they're going to quit. You just couldn't holler around them. It's a different story now. I'm hunting a bunch of young dogs, lots of screaming, lots of yelling. Hopefully we get back to where we were.
Because those dogs knew, they read you. They knew what was up.
Yeah.
You know, because that's what, I mean, obviously you hunt like that a lot. But it's Jared yelled at me last week about this, but it's like when you put those collars on those search and rescue dogs, they know. Mm-hmm. They'll run around the crowd and they'll lick everybody. Once they put those collars on, those vests, those dogs, they switch. And I know my dogs kind of do the same thing. If I go out there and I just throw them in the truck, but if I put collars on them before I throw them in the truck, it's a whole different story. Like, they know. Once those collars go on, they know. You know, and once you stepped in that stirrup, they knew you were going to go, period.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Like Jared, he kind of hunted with me. We just had dogs thrown in a horse trailer, and we get there, and I swing the gates open, and we get horses out. We get our bridles on, get straps on. I got to put my boots on, you know, probably wearing tennis shoes. And, you know, when we step on our horse, the dogs are just running around there cleaning out whatever. Holler at them dogs, and away you go. You know, it don't matter if there's a smoking hot track there or not. You know, they're not gonna roll till you're ready to roll.
I just don't understand why every time Jared puts chaps on, he takes his pants off. I don't get that. I said, Jared, I don't think that's how it works. You're not at Chippendales no more.
Still learning.
He's still learning. So Casey, be careful.
It was in the teens. It was in the teens. He wasn't gonna take his pants off when he was here with me.
Yeah, I think it's, you know, even in my yard, if I go get in my horse trailer and I open the gate to get in it for something, my dogs, they blow up. When I drop my tailgate on my truck, like they hear it and they switch their brain to, we're gonna go do something. We're gonna go do something. But I mean, anytime I drop my tailgate, any noise on the trailer, open the back gate. The back gate. You open the back gates, it's, you know how it works. All horse trailers sound the damn same. You open those gates, and those dogs think we're going somewhere. Same thing, because they know if I'm loading up a mule, 9 times out of 10, I'm loading them up too.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, that all comes with repetition. How many times did you went out there and saddle your horse to go gather cattle, and your dogs are going nuts because they want to go?
If I walk around that barn in the morning, them dogs, it's chaos around here. You can walk around there and scream at them, they'll shut up, but it'll only be for a minute.
Yep. For me, Casey said it so good. Yeah. I know which truck pulls up whether or not we are going tummy hunting. Yeah, it's a different bark when I have someone that pulls in my yard, or when I start my Tundra or hook up my trailers. They just go nuts. So
yeah, I think everything to do with the dog is repetition. You just gotta take them. Dog don't learn nothing, sitting at the house. And there are them guys that do drags and do all kinds of scent stuff with them dogs, and yeah, I believe it helps them. I really do. I just have a different situation. If I got an hour to jack with them dogs, well, I got an hour in the woods to jack with them. Like if it was a different scenario, it would be, if I lived in town and I had to take, trying to get dogs to come along there. It's just like Cody King. He loads everything, goes to the woods. Jared loads everything, goes to the woods.
So you have a young dog, and he has, here is the question between brains or grit. So if he has too much grit, can you settle him down? Should you take some of that away at a young age, or maybe a reckless grit, and try to get him to use his brain more? Or if he has too much brain, do you think you can teach him like a little bit to be more gritty? Should you pay attention to that and try to change it?
I think that's, all base scenario, like, explain gritty, like that dog's just real rangy and got a lot of energy. And, that dog just kind of what I'd call an orangutan. Take that dog every day. He don't get left at home. If you're hunting hard, don't split that dog up. Take that dog till he can't walk. And then keep taking him. Then take him again the next day, and them dogs that are hard to break. Same deal. Take them till they can't walk. Let them run a deer till they can't walk. We were having this discussion the other day, why so many dogs I don't think make anymore is nobody leaves their dogs in the woods. We go find our dogs. And this winter, I told myself, I'm not going to finding them puppies. I'm not going to go find them. They can stay in the woods. I'll go back and look for them that evening. If they're not there, say we trailered out and went somewhere. Back in the old days, you left them dogs out, and them dogs want to stay out in the woods by themselves 4 or 5 different times. I guarantee you, they'll start coming back and looking for you. Like you were talking about Mike Root. Mike Root said, "Oh, them dogs were crazy. They were, if you're there 14 days, yeah, they'll finally come around. They'll get hungry. They'll show up, and that I don't say get hungry in a mean way, but." It's all part of the process.
And those dogs, they know how to trail themselves back. I've watched them do it on a GPS.
Chris,
right up the same trail.
I had 3 puppies. I promise you weren't no bigger than that. I don't know how old they are. I pulled out of here in my buggy and rolled out of here. And I kind of made a circle. I come back through that deal, and it rained that night. It's summertime. And I got a bunch of tracks in the road, and I thought, man, there's coyotes just running up and down this road. And I got here, and them puppies weren't here. Them dogs trailed my buggy 14 and a half miles. They weren't 4 months old. Somebody picked them up. They hauled them to the pound, and we finally put a deal on Facebook. And They said, well, we might know where them dogs are, try the pound. She called the pound, and the pound wanted us to give them. She's like, they're not even old enough to have their shot. So, yeah, them puppies can trail. I mean, they weren't trailing. They were trailing that buggy. They were trailing a four-wheeler out of here.
Yeah.
A side-by-side.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that dog did have, and cow dogs do it the same, lesser nosed dogs. Them dogs, everybody thinks that it's a roadmap, but them dogs, their brain, an animal's brain just works completely different than a human's.
Well, look at a horse. Drag that horse 100 miles any direction and have it buck you off. It's going to run back home. It always runs back home no matter how far. Like they have this, it amazes me. The horse, like no matter where you go, horses, dogs, they have a GPS. My grandfather told me of a story way back in the day, like 60 years ago. He took a dog out, shot it. This dog ran off. Like I'm talking 20, 30 miles away. Shot it in the head, it ran off. And 2 weeks later, or a week and a half later, it showed back up at his house. They're great. I mean, the GPS system on an animal, whatever it is amazing. Humans, maybe we've just evolutionized and civilized ourselves, or been groomed to rely on anything else but our brain, and people get lost. They get lost all the time. We don't have that GPS system in our brain like a horse does. No matter which way you go through the mountains, you turn your horse towards your trailer, he's second, third gear all of a sudden. It's amazing. And those dogs can find their way home. I've left dogs out there 3 days. And the best GPS caller you can have is that one that has your phone number on it. Because sooner or later, someone's going to pick them up.
Yeah, them dogs are going to make 99% of the time. Them dogs are going to make it. Humans just get in their way. Somebody picks up your dog, and I think that's where we've got on that deal. Is like, heck, that dog's got a $350 collar on his neck. Like, I got to go find him. Like, I've got a lot invested in this puppy, but them old timers didn't do that.
No, they went back out. I lost a dog in Globe. Down there in Globe by Seneca Lake. Me and my son lost a dog. We had a bear in a mine and a lion out on a bluff that was right down by the river. We had four dogs over there. We had 5 dogs over here. 2 dogs got left out there. It was Snoopy and it was Jake. And Kyle, I had to work. Kyle had to be somewhere. I don't know about work. My son went back next day, found Snoopy at the corrals. The corrals. I'm talking, we were full blown. We was on mules. I mean, we were all over that country. And he knew where our trailer was because he went back to the corrals, whether he trailed it or knew where it was parked. Jake, never found Jake. And he only had a DC-30 on him, but Jake, we just never, I mean, he was an old dog too, so he may not even come out of there. But our dogs were so beat up. It took him 2 hours to go down and start hauling dogs back up and get back up in 80 yards. That's how dirty it was. And then he walked off with his chaps on because he was just going to go pee. I said, why don't you leave those chaps? Because we tied the mules up to a fence. I said, why don't you leave? I'm just going to go right here. And he had to wear them chaps. I don't wear chaps, but he wore them chaps all the way down that dirty, nasty, dragging dogs. I mean, we had to put one on a mule and carry it back, but them dogs, they know where to go. And if they don't get back to where they're going, they're either dead or can't. Maybe fell in a mine. And there's a lot of mines where I was hunting over there, but and that's the only dog I've ever lost ever out in the hills. And we went back there, we dropped dog food. We went back there for 2 weeks. Or, he had a collar with a number on it, but I think he got down there in that Salt River Canyon, and I don't think he left that lion. So, how them old dogs are. But, man, it's so great when you lose an old dog out there like that instead of on a chain or at a vet. Like us, I don't want to die in a hospital. I'd rather die on it. I'd rather fall off a cliff on a mule or hit my head or just have a heart attack and fall down and die than be in a hospital and die. I don't think there's any one of us on this whole show listening that wants to die in a hospital of old age, you know.
No.
But they know how to get back to where they're going. Now, puppies, it may take them a little while, but sooner or later, and they're smart enough to hit a road and stay on that road than puppies. I've seen them puppies hit them roads and stay on them roads because they know sooner or later someone's coming up that road. But yeah,
an animal just has a total different mindset than a human.
Dogs in general.
Absolutely. Any animal.
All animals, right?
All animals. I love it all the time.
They're there to survive. They have to survive, like, period.
Well, they've never been told that they can't or this or, you know, don't do that. You're going to get hurt. You know, I have them hunters tell me all the time. They're like, you know, somebody will show up here. You'll have a client and he'll, oh yeah, I hit that elk and man, he's going uphill. Like, I don't think he's bad wounded. Well, he may only go uphill a quarter mile or however far. I'm like, that animal wakes up every morning with one intention, two intentions. That's to eat and drink water and survive. 3 intentions. Like, he didn't call his buddy up and his buddy said, hey dude, like, you know what, if you don't wear these kind of shoes, like your foot's going to be bad. Or an animal doesn't think like a human. Humans are weak-minded. That animal has to survive. And a dog is pretty much the same way.
You leave a dog out in the hills for a month, they're going to do what they can to live. You leave a human out in the hills for a month, they're going to most of them these days are going to lay down and die.
Oh, 2 days, they're going to lay down and die.
Yeah.
The first night, they're thinking about it.
They're not going to drink dirty water. They're not going to eat a horse turd to stay alive. They're going to lay down and die.
Yep. Humans are the only creature on this earth that die of self-pity.
Yeah.
There you go.
Depression. Even a depressed dog, even if you yell at a dog and beat him up, put him on the chain and don't feed him for a week, go load him in your truck. He's ready to go. He doesn't sit there and say, man, they were mean to me. Man, I got rained on. No, he's going to go do what he's supposed to do, period. The loyalty is fabulous on a dog. It's extraordinary. And if you take advantage of that, that's when you become kind of a sorry human being. I'm not saying I don't lose my temper with my dog sometimes. You know, I broke the old Tritronic shocker with them trying to run out of my box and me whacking them.
Yep.
So if you're reading your dog, and your dog, you letting him read you, and you're paying attention to each other, I mean, you just got a heck of a team. Heck of a team. So what else can you do to a young dog to make him great?
The opportunity.
That's all it's about.
Right? That's the only thing.
Because most houndsmen don't train your dog to sit or lay down or roll over. They don't come lay on your lap. You know, your relationship is out there in the woods. Like you, they know if you get on your horse, you guys are best friends again, and you're out doing what you both want to do. So I think a lot of positivity, a lot of opportunity. You know, just like a kid, if you yell at him for striking out every time, like my kid would stand there in baseball, first year baseball, stand there and the ball go by him. I said, you know what you're doing wrong? You know why you're striking out? He said, well, I said, you're not swinging. I said, I'd rather see you swing, make that effort, and miss that ball than stand there and let that ball go by you. You know, I think that's the same with dogs. I'd rather than dogs go out chasing a coyote than to run around you playing like a dummy. Because at least they're trying something. I mean, you can always teach them how to hit a ball. You can always teach them how to run a bobcat or lion or bear, and then tell them, hey, like you said, leave them coyotes alone. They're no fun. Let's go over here. Everybody else is good. I think that's my group's thing. He said, audio sucks. Maybe. Or what he said was, that dog didn't get bored and wonder where all the other dogs are. Right? You send a kid over there to play volleyball, and everybody's having fun playing baseball. He's going to go over there and start playing baseball and learning baseball. Time. I think time is a big problem. I think people get into dogs and they don't realize how much time. And people who buy dogs, I think we talked about this a little bit last week, but people who buy dogs, I don't think they know puppies and how to bring a dog up as good as someone who has brought puppies up. Even if you have an older dog you're putting those puppies with. But like someone said last week, a lot of you guys are just buying dogs. Which is great if you're hunting, you want to catch, but to learn a dog, I think it's also great to start fresh and learn how that dog learns. That's just my opinion.
There's a lot of guys out there, so let's just say so-called, legends in the dog deal. They ain't caught lion in 5 years. And it's like, and got the best genetics, best whatever, type dogs and the ability and the know-how. But if you ain't taking that dog and giving that dog a full opportunity to do that, like you go, if you're home, if you leave the house at 4 o'clock in the morning, you're home at 10 o'clock. I can't catch up to that thing, that lion's over there. Well, that's what your dog's going to do. And it don't matter what kind of dog you've got. You could have the best dog in the world. If you don't have the drive, your dog's only going to have as much drive as you've got. And I'm guilty of it. I mean, there's not 5 fingers pointing at everybody else. There's 10 pointing at myself. I mean, we get to that point. We get busy, get other things going. To have a truly great dog, you truly have to be in the woods and give that dog the opportunity.
Can you hear me now, Anderson? I had to reset my mic or something. Can you guys hear me fine?
Not really. You're pretty hard to understand.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll sign out and come back in real quick.
Okay.
You guys pretend you know what you're talking about.
Like Jared, you agree with me on that? Like the pack of dogs that you have is because of the opportunities you've given them. You go to the woods, and you drive hard. If they're trailing, you're not pulling them. Like you're just like, well, we're gonna go to the end of it ain't dark yet. Like I'm not worried about where that pickup truck's at. As long as they're moving a step forward, as long as you're moving a step forward, you're still moving. Like I said, you can have the best dog in the world and have him on the correct game. But if you ain't got the drive to stay with that dog, you're going to take the drive out of that dog. I don't believe you can put drive in a dog, but I think you can take the drive out of a dog.
Absolutely, you can. Just like I've been guilty of it because especially in the heat, because I'm nervous about cooking the dog. But you see those dogs going up and over a nasty ridge, and you know where they're going, the complete hellhole. You're like, man, I'm gonna either one, I gotta pull them off of it because they're gonna get hot and the dog's gonna get cooked, or do I let them go down in that hellhole and maybe catch that lion, but we're not coming out till after dark because it's too hot to move.
Oh, that's just responsibility. That's all that is. That's responsibility. Like, hey, my horse is smoked, or I can't make it off into that hole. Like, I don't want to lay out tonight. Call the dogs and come back. But if you went at that mentality every day where you just go to the woods and go, I'm gonna go hunt for an hour, and then you get them on a track and you know what, I'm gonna pull them dogs, and
Yep.
yeah, they're not gonna hunt hard for you no more.
Nope.
And
No,
things are different. Things are different. If you're a coon hunter and you're going to go to the creek for an hour and you know there's coons right there and you can start a coon track and catch it 20 minutes, that's one thing. Game specific, you take a lion, heck, he might have walked 15 miles that night, You don't know until you try to go to the end.
Yeah, well, just like when I went hunting with you, when we were out on horseback, if that one time we trailed almost till dark, and you're like, we ain't gonna catch him today. Let's loop around and see if he went this way, so we have another game plan for the next day.
Always hunting the track for tomorrow.
Yeah. You're hunting for if like it's 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon and you haven't found nothing, but you're gonna hunt the next 5-10 days, whatever, the next day. Go keep covering country until dark. Whether it's driving roads, whatever, because you might stumble across a tom scratch or, a lion track coming across the road or whatever, and then you have somewhere to go for the next day. Then you up your chances of your dog seeing something the next day.
Yeah. And like a scenario like that, we trailed around there and that tom had been all over scratching. I'm like, well, we can go off right here and go to the house or go back to the truck, or we can put another 2 hours on our ride and go around here and check this country and see if that lion didn't come out of this country, and
Yep.
Yeah, like you said, just having that little bit of drive to try to shorten it up for the next day, because we were pulling our hair out. That lion had been all over that country, and everywhere we went, we had a scratch going this way, that way, and lion tracks everywhere. And we're like, well, we can't sort this out. We need to get him out of here. So that's what we did. We just went around there and tried to see where that lion was. Tried to cover one side of it, anyhow.
Yeah, see where we can at least get them somewhat sorted out.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, and then the day before that, we went and trailed. We trailed that morning. The day before that, we trailed a female and a kitten around there.
Mm-hmm.
Pilled around on that deal, and it ran out on us. And we didn't just load up at 1 o'clock and go home. No, we were in that buggy and we went and made a journey till dark. And now we're like, okay, now we got a big tomcat right here. We went to a whole different piece of the world.
Yep.
Ryan says that's why the dude that leaves the house every morning at 3:30 has such badass dogs. But the dude that knows where that lion is, you don't have to leave at 3:30 in the morning. You just have to know where that lion's going or has been, correct?
3:30, leaving at 3:30 helps you get a jump on them, compared to showing up at 9 in the morning, a couple hours after daylight. But if you're leaving the house at 3:30 in the morning, and like what Casey was saying, back at the house by 10 in the morning, you covered a couple canyons and said, well, he didn't come through here today. That's it.
Yeah.
You didn't go cover country. You didn't go try to do some homework and see where he went, see where he's been, if he's coming through, look for scratches, whatever.
Yeah, because I think it don't matter what time you start. You could go out in the middle of the day and try to find a track. If that track's heading up that canyon, you can kind of guesstimate where he's going to come out.
But Ryan said it right there, and you missed the point of it. It's not the 3 o'clock leaves his house every day, because I know he's talking about, and the guy is a good hunter because he goes to the woods every day.
He knows where those lions are, and he knows where to look for that track at 3:30 in the morning.
You're going. He's taking his dogs and going to the woods every day to go hunting. That's what it all boils. That's what it all boils down to.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now there's a lot I don't agree with. Like, you need to walk. You need to be with them dogs. Not.
Yep.
That's where I'm not a big fan of the Garmin. that way. You know, you sit in your truck and you watch that Garmin and you wait for that thing to be treed, and then you go there. You're going to trail a lot of shit in between there if you're not with them dogs. You have to go with them dogs.
Because if they are moving a track and all of a sudden they decide to, like Jared's dogs who loves them, chase monkeys right in the middle of it, or something jumps out.
That happened to me and Casey. We were trailing that Tom. Me, Casey, and Kenny. We were trailing that Tom, and dogs were standing on their heads, and it's getting dark, and we're like, hey, if we're gonna catch this bugger, we gotta grab dogs and move them. We go to move them, and what do we go, like 400 yards, 500 yards, and they started trailing again, and we're like, shoot, he must have gone down this canyon. Nope, we caught a monkey. You know?
Yeah. Now you got the guy that sits in the truck. He goes, oh yeah, I caught that lion down there. It was dark. I toned my dogs back. No, it don't work that way.
You didn't see the lion, so you don't know if it was a lion. Yeah. Most of the time when I don't catch, when I do that, man, I just figure I caught something I shouldn't have. You know, you just never know. No matter how broke your dogs are, man, something run across them right in the middle of them. They're apt to chase them, you know, and if you're not, I love the GPS because I tell you that GPS can really keep your dog safe, you know, and it'll save you a lot of gas money.
It's a great tool. You can see, like you were talking about them dogs trailing themselves back. You know, the other day I was in a situation with some guys trying to catch a depredation bear, and I never even turned a dog loose. Let them turn their dogs loose, and that bear just run plumb ass off. And then anyway, you can sit right there. It can sit right there on their little drive track and say, "Oh yeah, that dog, look, he's coming back right there." And that dog's coming right back down. Them young dogs were coming right back down their track. I mean, it's cool. It's cool to, when them dogs get away from you, you can see, you know, it all comes together. But it is a tool that makes hunters lazy also.
Yes. I've seen some guys, you know, where they don't get out of the buggy at all. They'll just sit there with a giant long range antenna, and that's all they know is whatever on their screen.
Yep.
And
Casey really don't like them Garmins. He will hand it to you and say, figure this thing out.
Yep. And it, you know, and I at least I don't get on top of them, but I like to see them. I like to be within a couple 100 yards to see who's doing what and what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, Jason. Just ask Jared to come hunting wherever you are in the United States, and I guarantee you'll have a monkey show up. Ask Dustin.
Oh yeah.
I just had a video up here in Sholo. I know where she lives. It was actually Snowflake Taylor, and they videoed a monkey running down the road. For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, it's a Cudamonde. Quaddy, whatever they want to call them. We call them monkeys.
Yeah, monkeys, Guatis, chulas. I don't know, they're terrible.
Yeah. Yeah. So, to wrap it up, pay attention to your pups, your young dogs, all your dogs in general.
Yeah.
Make sure you're putting them on enough. I mean, the number one thing I think is putting them on game, the right game. It don't matter what they're trashing. You get them to start wanting to hunt what they're supposed to, then you can worry about trash breaking later, correct?
Yeah. But, you know, if you got a real trashy dog, camp on that dog. Well, you know, you're going to have to, don't camp on him with the handheld. You're just going to have to tie your bootlaces on a little bit tighter and keep up with them the best you can to make sure he's staying square and honest with you. You know,
You got to stay with your dogs. Young dogs.
If you got some young dogs that they can smell that lion track, but all of a sudden one cow elk can screw up your whole day.
Yeah.
All of a sudden they're cold trailing that lion and they jump a cow elk out of the bed, and it's a young dog. It's not trailing off scent anymore. It's trailing off sight, and it's head up barking at that cow elk running.
Listen, Ryan, he says he leaves at 3:30. You know how he knows where they are and where they walk down the mountain every single day. He needs a ride back to his truck. Listen, if I know someone's going to take me back to my truck, I can walk 100 miles. If I know I have to turn around and walk back to my truck, I'm not walking 100 miles. But when you know someone's going to pick you up, you can go a long ways. You can go a long ways. That's me.
Oh, yeah.
But when you know you have to turn around and you start hitting that 3, 4, 5 mile mark, you know you have to go back 3, 4, 5 miles. And when you're chasing something, 3 miles, 4 miles, 9 miles, you can cover it quick if you're chasing something. Now, if I know someone's going to pick me up 20 miles away, I can cover it a lot quicker. I mean, that's security of knowing you can get in a truck and ride back. That's why when I'm on my mule and I walk my mule a lot of way, because when I want to go back home, I want my mule to be fresh. I'd rather be wore out going where I want to go and then her take me home.
Yeah.
Chris, how old are those pups? It's all your favorite, but you know by now that some other pup can switch on and succeed between the period of 8. You're right, and that's why I like raising my own litter, because I can keep them as long as I want. I can watch how they work. I just put a video out. I just took the dogs out and played with them basically. And I do have a favorite. But man, that little black and tan, don't tell Jared I need to mute him real quick. But that little black and tan, man, I watched that little dog and it follows my own Stinker. It follows her and it puts his stinking nose down and acts like he's a 3-month-old dog it's great. So I might end up with the black and tan. And the funny thing is with dogs with blue eyes, I can get rid of dogs with blue eyes in 3 seconds, anywhere. And, my kids are like, oh, I want that one, blue eye. Man, that little black and tan, he don't have no blue eyes or nothing. Either does that one I like. And I wish I could have a kiosk where I could say I want a blue tick with this kind of speckle, and I want the ears to look like this and his tail to look like this, and I want his nose to work like this. That'd be great. But you're right, Anderson. I mean, that's what sucks, because unless you keep all 7 dogs for 2 years, but that's why I like to give them. I don't really sell them. I give them to people I know it's either going to hunt them. And if I take those less dogs and they want a pet, and I'm like, this is going to be a good pet, but even then I'm not always right. I just know what I've seen for the last few months, because I usually keep them 3, 4, sometimes 6 months. But you're right. They're only 7 or 8 weeks. They're 7 weeks, I think, maybe. Coming of 8 or vice versa. It might be 6 weeks coming of 7. I have to look. My next pup, I'm taking the whole cur litter at 4 or 5 weeks, keep the ones I want and get the rest gone. I'm selfish and ain't dumb. Blue-eyed dogs I can get rid of all day long, and they're a quarter Catahoula. And I don't know why I like that Catahoula, because it got a little bite to them. And they're really fast dogs. So that 3/4 hound, I think, slows them down just enough. And my one cur dog, my one Catahoula, Cruella, she loves the tree. She's fast on the track. She'll keep up with them. but she won't trail 100% all the time. But when she does pick it up, she takes off with it. So, but I love raising puppies. Jared don't so much.
I hate
Jared
full
don't
litters.
like raising litters.
You give me 2, 3, 8-week-old pups, I'm happy. But you give me 10, 12 of them, that's too much for me.
Yep. No, I just like working with them. I don't know why. I just love working with pups. I mean, I used to train bird dogs. I love training bird dogs. I mean, same thing with the Labrador.
She's always great with puppies.
See, you're
She'll
lucky.
let 'em
You got a
run.
sugar mama and a puppy trainer.
Yeah, I mean, you can give her 3, 4 pups, and by the time they're 8 weeks old or what have you, they know their names. They know when to come to her. She's great with them little pups.
I don't really teach them names, but I teach them whoop. Let me tell you about when you go whoop and they come to you. Like right now, they're
Yep.
not even 8 weeks, and they do it. And I lost a dog. It was my fault. He jumped out of the truck. I went down to the creek. I left the side panel. It's a puppy box, I call it, because the side lift up and it screened. Well, he jumped out, and I didn't see him until I got down to a gate. And I'm like, damn, I got 6 pups. I went back to where I thought he fell out and checked it, went up and called, got out of where I dropped him maybe a couple hundred yards, and whoop, and that little sucker come running out of the woods. So as far as puppy training, I think it's important. I don't care about their names because they'll learn their names later.
Oh, yeah.
You know, but if you teach them to come to you on that whoop, that's how I recall all of my dogs. When I say whoop, all my dogs know what that means. All of them. You know, and if I say, Lucy, get over here, Lucy comes to me. Cecilia, get over here. Ooh, Jared's about to dump a lot of money. I think Jared has to restart his phone. He dropped it. He's getting gas anyways. But I think it's important to teach recall. You know. So,
Yeah, the dog, they got to know their name.
all my dogs will learn their lane. They learn once I name them. I hadn't even named them. My kids name them. We got Blue, we got Ugly, we got Dixie. But as long as they come to me when I say whoop, they'll learn their name. All my dogs know their name. But yeah, I just don't teach them their name first. I teach them whoop, you know. I want
Heck,
them to
when you get as old as me, Chris, you can't remember their names.
That's a fact.
They're just
When you start
dogs, yeah.
yelling, you just start yelling names. Come here, you son of a gun. But I can go out. I can go anywhere out in my yard. I can go 20 yards out, 50 yards out and start whooping, and they'll come running. So it's on that video a little bit. I just recorded one. I sent it to Ryan because I asked Ryan, what's their recall like? He goes, I don't, you know, their names. And I said, no, you got to do recall. You know, and Ryan, he has a little list of stuff he's doing from somebody. And he does some weird stuff that I'm like, how does that work? But I'm interested to learn from him even, you know, because I think this is his first litter. And I'm interested to learn how he does his things. Oh, he hung up on me. He hung up on me. And can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh. Casey, I think Casey is trying to call dogs and he shut his phone off again.
Oh.
So I just like dogs to be recalled even when I was with Cody King. Cody King was kind of sick and he was just like, and I'm like, shit. And, you know, so I had to scream for Cody's. But I think that's almost a universal language for a lot of houndsmen. Whoop, you know, get them over. Kind of like the horn. Kind of like the horn. I just don't have to carry a horn. And I honk my horn. His phone fell again. You know, I can honk my horn and they come back. But I tell you what, you whoop really loud, they'll come back. So I just like a good recall, and I like manners. You know, they don't have to sit and roll over and play dead. You know, if I was a single dude, I'd probably be living in a hogan, and my dogs would be in there with me. So, but I'm not. I got a wife that's beautiful as heck. I love her to death, but she ain't gonna let me keep 15 dogs in my house. But there's 300-pound pit bulls on my couch. Isn't there? Are real? Or they are good guard dogs. Let me tell you a story real quick. My kids last weekend camped out, and just out in the front yard, and it was their friend came over, and the pit bulls lay out there with them on their sleeping bags or in their sleeping bags, and they started barking, real bad barking. You know, the bark where you're like, man, that's not coyotes. And I thought it was. So I went out there and I told my kids, what are they barking at? We don't know. I said, you got a flashlight? They said, no. They had their phone flashlights, which people these days don't carry flashlights no more because they think that phone's good enough. So I went to my truck. I'm literally in my underwear, my boxers. I go to my truck, get a flashlight, and my wife comes running out. Phone call. I'm like, it's 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. I'm like, why'd you answer my phone? She goes, no, you got to take this call. And I get on the phone, and it's my son, my oldest son, Kyle. And he goes, hey, it's me. I'm over here trying to scare the boys. I said, hey, Kyle has his 410 out there. Like, he's walking around with it. And my son would probably, if he got shot to 410, it'd probably be funny because that's the kind of person he is, because he was trying to scare somebody. So I said, Kyle, what are you doing? Or I said, Trevor, you got your gun, yeah? I said, man, you got one in it? He goes, no, I got it on safety. I said, well, Lyndon, come get this flashlight. And Lyndon gets this flashlight. I'm like, go look over there and see if those coyotes are out in that field, or check the mules. And he's going over there. And my son's hiding behind a little, you know, those white water crates that have they're the white crates with the cage around them. Well, there's one sitting there. They keep their scrap in. I said, go put the light out there. So he's standing on this side of a crate. The thing's only 4 foot. And him and my son standing there. And my son still has the shotgun, but it's kind of pointed down. And he's pointing that light right across that barrel, looking out in the field. And my son has like an old man mask. And he jumps up and scares the crap out of him. And those pit bulls, man, you have to stop them before they bite you. You know, because the one, she's what, 6, 7? She's a little blind, and if you don't let her know who you are, man, she comes after you at night. And so we don't take our keys out of the truck. We don't lock our trucks. And if you can get in this yard, if you think you can get into my yard, I'll put a $100 bill on my console in my truck, and I'll even let you know when you can come in anytime. You don't have to tell me. But you won't get that $100 bill because I got 8 dogs running around, and they're not very nice at night. Great in the day, not at night. But that's just my pit bull story. My boys are 13 and 20 now, but they were little dudes, and they were invincible badass with their 410. The good old 410. Now I think you can buy a gun cheaper than you can buy a box of shells. Ridiculous.
You want to talk about ridiculous? I just paid $6 per gallon in Nevada.
This is when you wish you had a tank in back of your truck.
God.
So what that cost you? 120?
I didn't even look.
Yeah. What is Anderson? For me, the recall is one word for all. Then I say their name, it means look to me. And yeah, I agree. Look to me individually. Basically, when I say their name, it means head to me and pay attention. Heed to me. Yep. Yeah, my recall is just whoop. That's all I do. So, well, you guys got anything else? Any advice for people with young dogs?
Just go hunting and learn them.
God dang, $7.65. That's California, a gallon.
Ouch.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So
I'd be walking a lot more. I know that much.
yep. Well, guys, thanks for coming on. We have 10 more tickets left for that raffle. So once that's up, we'll do a drawing. Casey needs one of those Alpha XLs.
I looked
Cody,
at one the other day and I was like, that's pretty damn neat. But and they were putting dog collars on it and Bluetooth in the thing, and I was like, holy crap.
well, the
like, what are you
Alpha
guys doing?
XL, you don't have to Bluetooth. It reads the collars right there. It's like a GPS.
Yeah, but the dogs were in the woods, you know, and they didn't have those on there. They're just doing that stuff. I was like, holy crap. I'm like, what's this world come to?
Yep.
Right.
No, Cody King calls it mission control.
Mission control. I've seen it. I've seen him and Slade in action with them things.
Jeremy says he can make a mount for your saddle too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get one of those big Charles saddles with a 3-inch horn on it or 4-inch horn.
Dinner plate saddle.
Yeah, one of those Mexican Charles saddles.
Yeah. Put your little mount on it.
Both of them have been around me enough to know that pin that Jared's got that just points a direction to him and gives you yardage. That's all I need. I got the things I do have. I've got 2 300s, a 200, and the 100. I don't know how to work any of them.
Yeah. Kyle got one too now, huh?
Yeah, he's got a little Alpha 10.
So all you need to know is which way they went, right?
Give me yardage in the direction. I can figure out the rest.
Yeah.
All righty, guys. Well, it's still light where Jared is.
Yeah. Almost there. I got another hour, little over an hour drive.
Sweet. Well, thanks for coming on, Casey.
Yeah.
Jared, appreciate the info. I'm sure everybody else does. So maybe I haven't. I think I lost everything. Can you hear me? Oh, there it goes. Maybe I'll come down there and film Jared trying to be a cowboy soon. I think we lost Jared anyway.
Oh, it'll be good. It'll be good. Jared's gonna have fun.
He says, I don't have to rope or nothing. I said, yeah, you will. So you got to get him trying to rope. So, yeah,
We'll get a picture of him with something on the end, with beef on the line and squalling and trying to figure out something. It'll be good.
Put that horse to the test he has.
There you go. Yeah.
Hey, my mule ropes and drags and everything. I'm not. Now,
Perfect.
me roping is another thing. Oh yeah, she'll push right into him. I was really amazed. I went and helped my cousin Brand. I'm like, I'm gonna take my mule and try her out. She don't give a shit. She'll drag. She'll pull backwards. Like, not bad for a free mule, man. She'll push right into those cattle. She'll go right into them and push them. Yeah, she's not afraid of them at all. So
Cool. We get
maybe
some
I'll come down and
together.
visit you guys for a day.
Yeah, we get some cattle thrown together. You'll have to come down and we'll get you dragging calves and video it on your donkey. Then
I got some video.
Then we'll put Jared on it and make him rope, drag some, and then we'll make Diana drag calves on the donkey.
I'll bring my real donkey and see if that one will work. It rides. So,
good deal.
Nice.
All right, Chris. You have a good night.
All righty, guys.
Congratulations on your award deal.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, it's kind of weird, but you don't feel like you do a lot. I don't feel like I do enough, and it's, man, politics is stupid and tough. I hate it. No fun. You deal with forestry.
Yeah, I'm glad you're there and it's not me.
Hey, if anybody thinks they can do it better, let me know and I will gladly let you.
Yeah. Keep on trying.
Yep. All right, Casey. Appreciate you.
All right. Later.
All right. Halloween special. I read it, Juliana. I know you saw me on a Halloween special. I wasn't joking. You guys have a good night. All right, guys, what do we got? We still have 10 spots left. Everybody's broke, no joke. So you can win an alpha, 3 TT25s, an alpha XL, or 3 TT25s, or alpha 300, or $1,000 cash. So give me 20% of that and you might win, maybe. I better not say that. So it's a heck of a deal. There's only 40 spots. Jeremy actually won. I think he won our last one, Louisiana Hunting. Go check out his channel, Louisiana Hunting, on YouTube. I just released a video with a bunch of dumb puppies. I'm working on the one where I went to Cody's. We didn't do very good, but we're having conversation about dogs. It's pretty cool. Arizona Working Dog Alliance. I'm going to tell you guys right now, it's not public, but we're going to have a fight 2027. So basically, I got to get a war chest built up so I can go down and fight this stuff. And I got some people with me too. So other organizations, the Arizona Wildlife Federation, they've been real helpful making me not look so stupid. So, and they're making me look kind of cool now. Other than that, listen, Jeremy, listen. I'm working on it. I had technical difficulty on my puppy one. It took me 3 hours to fix it. But other than that, go to coldstrikegear.com and go to the honey hole section. I think it says there, join. Pretty cool site. He does a lot of giveaways, and the more people on there, the more he's giving away. He's giving away, I think he's giving away XLs and alphas and all collars and sweatshirt, all kinds of stuff. I have lots of excuses. My best thing, ask my wife. Oh, that's a fact. Juliana says, I was on 2 meetings today, brother. You got to keep giving them the heat. That's a fact. And it ain't cheap to give the heat. I'll tell you that. Just travel time is where it costs all the money. Other than that, go to azwda.com. 10 more spots. Buy a spot. You never know. You might be the lucky one. azhhr.com. The rendezvous is still happening. I was almost afraid Diana couldn't cook for us, but she still is, and it's great food. And if anybody knows anybody that wants to donate for the raffle to that, let me know. Hounds at azhhr.com or azwda@outlook.com. Other than that, appreciate you guys. Always. Crap, I kicked myself off. Always remember, keep your powder dry and stay safe out there.
Well, bye.